Can you think back to one decision or mistake you made in the past that you could have drastically changed your life for the better today? In this video, I'm gonna share 5 of my worst financial mistakes, what I learned from them, and how I'm better today because of them. And my hope is that you can learn from my mistakes so you don't have to learn the hard way. So stay tuned. All right, so today I am going to share 5 of my worst financial mistakes. Now, it's kind of embarrassing. Why would I do this? Well, I'm doing this because there's lessons in here that we can all learn. Now, have you ever heard the saying that smooth seas never made a skilled sailor? What that means is that we learn from our mistakes. We don't learn from our successes. Success is a horrible teacher. It's our mistakes that we learn from. Now, I always say that success leaves clues. We want to learn from other people. And so whenever I fail, I dissect that to see what I can learn. And if I can teach you, hopefully you could avoid these same mistakes and you can have success without having to hit the potholes that I have, right? We either win or we learn. And so unfortunately I didn't win on these, but I did learn, and hopefully you can learn as well. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. My mistake number 1 is missed opportunities. Now, there's been lots of missed opportunities I have. This one was maybe the biggest one that I missed, mainly because it really affected the rest of my life. And when I was about 18 years old, I started working full time. I was working for this small engineering company, and me and a couple buddies got together in our spare time. We were super into action sports. We were super into snowboarding at the time. And we got together and came up with an invention for snowboarding that we thought was gonna be really big. It was something that the market really needed. And given that we were working at an engineering department or in a company, we had access to resources and engineers that were helping us. And we came up with a prototype, and we were all super excited about it. And we were working in our passion and all these things. And you know, I was 18 and I was already working full time, and I had too many other things on my mind, and I decided not to move forward with them. And the long story short is that they went on to have a very successful company that became a product that was widely used throughout the whole snowboard industry, and they dominated. And they didn't get super rich from that, but they got to live their passions, and it was something that I was into, and it was an opportunity that I had. And the reason why this is one of the biggest ones for me that really shaped the course of my life is because I was so young and impressionable at the time, and I decided that I was never going to miss another opportunity again. So since then, I've said yes way too many times. I'm afraid to let another opportunity miss me. And as I've gotten older, I've tried to get better at that. But missing opportunities, that was a big financial mistake that I made when I was really young. All right. The biggest financial mistake, number 2. And this one is that I rushed in without looking. And so, as I said earlier, I've been into action sports. I have a high tolerance for risk, which is good, but it's also bad. Any overdeveloped strength can also become a weakness. And so some people are afraid to ever try. Well, I'm not afraid to try. As a matter of fact, I'm not afraid. And so I take too many tries, and a lot of times they end up not good. I've broken all the limbs in my body. I have metal in all of them. And so I've tried many times. But in this particular one, I rushed in without looking. And on this particular deal, it was pretty early on in my real estate career. I mean, I had done pretty well. I made millions of dollars already at that point, but I was working in just mainly single family homes. And I just started working on bigger buildings, commercial buildings, and working out of state. And I had someone that was referred to me by another business associate. And this guy knows what he's doing. And he's got this apartment building in Atlanta, 96 units, and we're going to completely gut it and redo it. And it was just such a good deal, and it was way bigger than any deals I had done. And like I said, it was out of state. As a matter of fact, it was across the country. But because this guy was introduced to me by a known associate, I just jumped in, and I didn't even take the time to really look at what was going on. I didn't take the time to vet him properly. And if I would have found a bunch of warning signs that would have caused me to probably pump the brakes, but I didn't. I rushed in. I put about $650,000 into this deal, and it turned out horrible. Long story short, the building never got done. The guy tried to defraud me and the other investors in the deal. I had to take him to court. Couple years worth of litigation. I got about $250,000 of my $650,000 back. So I lost about whatever that is, 60%, 65% of my investment on that one deal. And it was because I rushed in. I didn't take the time to really look at it, do my due diligence. And so now I'm a lot more careful, especially when it comes to my money. And hopefully you can learn from that one as well. I see too many times where people are talking about getting wrecked and they're buying things and they don't even know what they're buying. And so it's up to you. No one's going to look after your money, but you are. So you need to take the time to understand what it is that you're doing. Spend the time to protect your money. All right, that's number 2. All right, mistake number 3. This one was, I was overconfident. That's what it was. So I had started a mortgage company and it was growing really, really fast. It was at the time when the mortgage industry was booming. I grew it up to about 65 employees pretty quickly, had the top floor of this giant building, and it was just growing super fast. And at the rate we were growing, I was looking for an 8-figure exit. That's like 10 million or more. And I thought I would get that 8-figure exit. At the rate we were growing, it was like for sure I was gonna get there. I had someone come in that had recently sold another mortgage company for like $100 million, some crazy valuation. And he saw what I was doing and he wanted to be a part of it. And he made me an offer to buy 51% of my company. And at the time I was like, no way, like I'm gonna grow this thing, I'm gonna make $10 million, and like no way am I selling it now. It's too early, because I was way too overconfident. And I didn't know what he knew. I was kind of new to this part of the industry, and long story short, he had made me a couple $1 million offer just to take over half of the business, and I would still get half of the business, non-controlling half. And I just said no. I said no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to run this thing hard. We're going to get that exit. And long story short is that not too far after that, the market crashed. And I ended up not getting any money. As a matter of fact, did I not get any money? I had to put some money back in just to close everything out and get everything good on that. So I was overconfident in my ability. I was overconfident in the market. I passed the opportunity to cash out, take a couple $1,000,000, and instead I lost everything. So that was a big one. Make sure that you're not being too overconfident in yourself. Know what your limitations are. Try to understand what the risks are within yourself, your own limitations, but as well as the market outside of you, because that's what caught me. So anyway, do not be too overconfident, or it can definitely bite you. Cost me a couple $1,000,000. Now, number 4. This one is the biggest one. Well, number 5 might be the biggest one. Number 4 is pretty big. This is one I've talked about quite a bit. I had built a pretty big, a massive empire through real estate. I had sold multiple businesses. I had other businesses. I had started an internet business, the mortgage company. I sold multiple businesses, and I had basically put everything into real estate. So this was like 2004, 2005, 2006, and I was building $10 million, $15 million projects. I had all my money and all my eggs in one basket. And why? Why did I need to do that? I already had more than enough. I had enough rental properties. I had enough businesses that I didn't need the money. But it was 2 things. It was greed and it was inexperience. Those are the 2 things that got me. So the greed got me where I basically sold all the assets that I had to put everything on the line. It's like that game of poker where they push all their chips in, they're like all in. And that was me, all in, sell everything I have, put it all in. That was greed. I didn't need to make that much money. I had everything that I needed. I could have just kept hitting base hits, but instead I got greedy. And it was also an experience. I was young at the time and I hadn't lived through bear markets. I didn't understand what cycles were very well. I didn't know how bad things could get, and nobody did for that matter. And so greed and experience got me. And because I was all in when the real estate market got wiped out, I lost everything. An over $20 million portfolio was gone. I was millions of dollars in the hole from that. And that one is my biggest lesson. And that one drastically changed the whole course of my life. It really made me dig down, learn everything on my own, and change my future. I had to take it upon myself. And that's why I make these videos for you guys today. And so I have the key that I learned from this is asset allocation. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Why did I have them all in real estate? I should have kept some in my businesses. I could have kept some in my rental properties, etc. And so asset allocation, that's why I put these guides together for you. If you haven't got the guide, I've been talking about it on a few videos. There's a link down below. You can download it for free. This guide will walk you through the process to figure out exactly what assets you should be allocating to and exactly how you can do it. It makes it super easy. Like I said, this is the painful lesson I had to learn. I don't want you to learn the same thing. So check out the link down below. It's free. Just download it. Let me know what you think on that. The 5th and final lesson was I didn't get help. I didn't get help. That was it. And really what it comes down to is I didn't pay for my education sooner. So, I just thought I could do it on my own. Like I said, I was overconfident, I was greedy, and I just figured I could figure this out on my own. And yeah, I was reading books, and I had, things like that. I was watching videos and reading books and tons of books. I even took some real estate classes at the local community college and whatnot. But overall, for investing, I just didn't get the education that I needed. And so it wasn't until I lost everything that I learned the concept that money didn't disappear. It was transferred. And that means when I lost my money, someone else got it. And so I basically said, look, that's never going to happen to me again. I'm going to be on the receiving end next time, and I have to take it upon myself. And so I took what little money I had left and I started buying financial newsletters. And so these newsletters cost anywhere from about $2,000 to $5,000 each for a year. And still to this day, it's been 12 years, and still to this day, I subscribe to 3 or 4 a year. And really, those are the things that turned my life around. I stopped trying to get free information, stopped trying to be cheap, and I started paying for my education. I paid for financial newsletters. One of those financial newsletters made me 10 times back on my money. And I used that money to buy the next one, and I made more money, and on and on and on. And a lot of times people ask me on these videos, what books did I read, all these things. And really, almost all my education has come from financial newsletters, and I had to pay for it. But I wish I would have started that sooner. If I would have started paying for that a decade before, it would have kept me out of the trouble that I found myself in, losing everything that I talked about in number 4. So that's it. That's 5 financial mistakes. Each one of those would have drastically changed the future of my life. And I try not to live with regrets, but I try to also learn from those so I can change and be better. And hopefully you can learn from these and improve your life as well. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave me a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't, leave me a thumb down. Either way, but leave me comments and let me know. I'd love to have conversations with each one of you. Ask me some questions. I want to start answering your questions a little bit better. Let me know what you need. And oh yeah, and don't forget, download that free guide. It's like 20 pages. I put a lot into it because I don't want you to end up where I did. So download the guide, and that's it. To your success. I'm out.